everyone, welcome to this update video this morning. I hope you're doing awesome. So we're gonna get into quite a bit in this update video. So first things first, Jamaica. It was a bit eventful in the country. I mean, yesterday there was a lot of heavy rain in some of our southern parishes, such as St. Catherine, for example, and there has been some flooding as well, some pretty significant flooding because of the heavy downpours across the island in the afternoon hours. And, in terms of that, we could see some additional heavy rain today, and in those areas already saturated, that's going to make it a lot easier for flooding to take place. So we'll be looking at the rainfall forecast. So parts of southern Jamaica experienced a lot of those heavy downpours. In addition to that, there was an estimated magnitude 3.7 earthquake with its epicenter in eastern Jamaica. So as we're seeing, that red star highlights where the epicenter of that earthquake was, and it was approximately 5:46 p.m. local time. So if you're in Portland or St. Thomas, you may have felt the shaking. Even in St. Andrew as well, you can let me know in the comments if you felt it. This was a pretty minor shaking, and it was at a depth at 6.2 kilometers, though. That's not too far from the surface. And the closer these earthquakes happen, the more likely they are to be felt. So if it was a lot deeper, then it may not have been felt as much, but some persons definitely did feel this. I am all the way in Montego Bay in St. James, so I did not feel anything out of the norm while working. So you can let me know in the comments, as I said, if you felt this shaking. So that's what's happening internally for Earth, and this is not something new to us. We often get these minor shakings from time to time. But how about what's happening above Earth's surface? In the atmosphere, things will be kicking up as it relates to the hurricane season. So I want to get into the updated graphic from the Climate Prediction Center, along with what some of our models are suggesting. We're starting to see those hints of tropical cyclone activity resuming in the not so distant future. So let's get into it. But before we go very far, I want to get into the forecast for today, just to get that out of the way for now. Looking at the satellite imagery here of the North Atlantic, we've got some action out there. We've got a couple tropical waves moving through. One has been bringing some showers to parts of the Lesser Antilles, and we also see a bit of action across parts of northern South America, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana. And by the way, this is the satellite imagery for earlier this morning. So you can let me know what's been happening for you. In addition to that, we've also had that Saharan dust moving through. As I showed you guys the forecast yesterday, it is going to continue in its plumes for a while, but we're eventually going to see a break in that dust, or at least less dust, and that is going to help to create a more conducive environment for tropical development to take place. So looking at the rainfall forecast for today, this is what the Euro model is showing. So we see that, the map is pretty colorful in parts of the Caribbean. So for the Lesser Antilles, especially towards the islands of St. Vincent, the Grenadines, Grenada, Trinidad, Tobago, there could be some decent rain as we head throughout today. Further north for the rest of the Lesser Antilles, some showers definitely likely. And also for the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, there could be some heavy downpours and thunderstorms, especially as we head into the afternoon. Similar thing, Hispaniola, Jamaica. As I mentioned, some of those southern parishes may receive some additional heavy rain. Overall, across the island, there could be those showers moving by with those heavier downpours possible. And for the Cayman Islands, though, not going to be very, very active, but there could be some rain. Similar thing for parts of eastern Cuba, but over in the west, we see a bit more color there. So there could be some heavy rain through the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, couple passing showers possible. Same thing, Florida, towards Central America, likely to be active. Similar thing for northern South America, especially towards Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. ABC Islands, not seeing much color around at all, so it's likely to be a pretty sunny day today. So that is it in terms of the rainfall forecast. Now, let's look at what one of our steering mechanisms is. So in the hurricane season, we have this major feature, a subtropical area of high pressure. Now, it is important to note that within high pressure systems in the northern hemisphere, winds rotate in a clockwise fashion. So this is how we get the tropical waves rolling to the west, because the winds within that high pressure area, the Bermuda, Azores High, rotate clockwise. So we got these winds coming in from the east to the west. That's what brings these dust plumes to the Caribbean, the trade winds, the tropical waves. So This also results in those tropical storms, hurricanes steering west. Look at Beryl, for example, our most recent hurricane, and the first and only of the hurricane season thus far. Now, the Bermuda Azores high is very dominant right now, and when it is stronger, more systems tend to head to the Caribbean. When it is weaker, many systems they may develop, but they curve out, and we saw a lot of that last year. However, with the steering patterns for this year, with the atmospheric circulatory systems being altered because of, natural changes happening in the environment, that is allowing for a more dominant area of high pressure. That is one thing. So steering mechanism, well on its way. It's been dominant out there. So we can look forward to more systems heading into the Caribbean. But what is the concern with this? Now, the dust is helping to keep things at bay, but we have those very warm waters. This is a map showing the anomaly, showing how much the water is warmer or cooler than average. The white spots indicate where the waters are pretty much average. But look at the Caribbean. Look in parts of the Gulf. Look in and around the area. We're seeing a lot of these orange or these yellowish shadings indicating above average temperatures. So temperatures have been above average for much of the year, record breaking at that, and that is going to be fuel to the fire. That is what allowed Beryl to strengthen into such a powerful hurricane in no time. So there is a pretty likelihood that, hey, we're going to be seeing this happening more often during the hurricane season once things resume. So we've got that generally westward track expected due to the strong subtropical high, and then very warm waters, which will be fuel for the tropical waves that will try to develop. But when will we see things resume? Let's go on to that. This is the updated graphic from the Climate Prediction Center. So this is the Global Tropics Hazards Outlook. So we're focusing on the Caribbean around here. So for the week of the 24th going to the 30th, that is through the last week of July, not expecting anything much to be happening. Bit of above average rain for parts of Mexico, and we may see some things try to develop in the Eastern Pacific, maybe not posing a threat to anyone. But then as we head to July 31st, to the first week of August, look at this. We're seeing that red and white striped area. That is indicating a chance of development, but look at the general track to the west. So as these tropical waves come off, as the dust lessens, and with that dominant high, we're likely to see some systems rolling into the Caribbean, potentially developing. And it's not just that. Look at the green shading. That is highlighting the chance of above average rain, a pretty decent chance. So we're going to see the area being a lot more active with precipitation, but also development as we close off July and head to August. And you'll probably recall from my previous videos, even from over a week ago, when I've been saying things are likely to ramp up as we head into late July and August. And here we're seeing that now being reflected on this graphic. So again, this is for the week of the 31st through the 6th of August. So that is when we could see things really starting to resume in the tropics. And in terms of our models, the ensembles for GFS, this wasn't fully loaded at the time when I had retrieved this graphic here, but for next week on the 23rd, here we can see a few members picking up on a tropical wave out there trying to get itself together. So that's the GFS. Euro goes 10 days out, and Euro is really not showing much. You see that one member there. Usually when we see like a whole cluster of them, that is when we really want to be watching for something. But in addition to that, the icon model is kind of showing something the GFS is. So as I showed you, until the 23rd, the GFS model ensembles are picking up on something trying to form, and icon on the regular model run is reflecting that. So we see that area of low pressure and all those green shadings around indicating all that moisture. And then we see that dominant high pressure area out there. So westward, or generally westward track, is suggested as we head to Wednesday. We're not seeing this solidifying much, maybe because of some dry air or even a bit of wind shear in the area. However, it is over a week out from now, or just about a week out from now. So we'll have to watch these models to see if more will be in agreement about this potential system by the end of next week. If not, maybe the other week. But we're going to be seeing things resuming very, very soon. So as I've reiterated multiple times, we have to use this time to make the necessary preps to be ready for when things resume. So we've gotten a break since Beryl, and things are going to be ramping back up, and it's likely we're not going to see much of a pause for some time, really. So I'm here to keep you updated though, as I always do, and that is it for right now. I do hope you found this update video to be informative, but if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll respond to you when I have the chance to do so. And remember to always be weatherwise.